Hi, I'm Barry Anderson with Barry Andersen Studios. Today I will show you how to go from this to this. And the thing you're asking yourself is, what is the difference? Well, I don't have those annoying glowing reds in this example right here. In this one I do. So how would a person go about correcting this? First of all, this tutorial is aimed at people who shoot concerts or shows or events inside venues. Not so much shooting at 100 ISO inside a studio. And that therein lies the key difference. For one, when you're shooting in a venue like this, you do usually have like mixed light. And mixed lighting will change the way that colors look. But another factor is using higher ISOs. When you use a higher ISO, you're not recording as much contrast and you're not recording as much color. And because of that, it's going to change the way that the colors work and interact on whatever surface that it's shining on. But also, it's on the sensor itself, it determines how it's going to be recorded. So the higher you go up on ISO, the lower the amount of colors are going to be recorded. Now, with that said, how do I gain this detail back? Well, I tried using a high-pass filter, and the high-pass filter doesn't correct the problem nearly as well as I wanted it to. So here's my method. The first things first, make sure that whatever image you're correcting, it has the absolute closest and correct, whoops, wrong layer. Make sure it has the absolute and most correct color balance. Now, in order to find it in this scene, I just used the beach ball, for example, and that immediately got a lot of reds out in the original example. Now, you don't see it in this because I already corrected it before I started the tutorial, but those oranges really made the bra and the texture of this red material a lot more glowy than it is here. Now, the second step is to convert it to black and white. When you convert any color to black and white in a scene, you'll generally see that the texture is still preserved. And even though the colors may not be as accurately recorded or whatever, they might be glowy because they're of the intensity of color or whatever it may be, you'll still have the detail if you convert it to black and white. Now, I'm going to pump it up and tone it down a little bit to see just about where I want the amount of detail to be. One of the bigger areas that didn't have a lot of detail is this area right here. And let's say this area right here and some right here. So if I can correct that by going to black and white, looks like I got those areas pretty good. And okay, that's what I want to make my selection for. So now what I want to do is, if I try to change it in the layers here, the problem is you're still working with a raw file. This is originally a raw file. And even though you convert it black and white and you merge down or whatever, it's still recorded as color. Whether you take the picture in black and white, if it's a raw, is irrelevant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten it by saving it as a JPEG. Now I save it as a JPEG as whatever file I want. There you go. Black and white, blah, blah, blah. Make sure it's the exact same size, whatever. Anyways, now I open it back up on in a separate window. Here we go. So now we see that this example, you can see the detail. It's a lot better. Wow, it's brilliant. You can sharpen it up even more if you want. Let's go back to Smart Sharpen. Let's not overdo it. And let's look at the edges down here. And let's see. There he is. Maybe like right there. Reduce noise 10%. Do I need to reduce noise? Nope, because it's all contrast anyways. Bam. So I'll do that. That's really kind of sharp. That's actually really sharp. But you know what? That's okay. You know, I'm trying to preserve details here. So we're just going to keep it like that. Now, second thing I want to do is I want to go back to the original picture and I want to select a color using my color picker tool. Now, I want to choose something that's not too bluish, I guess, and I also don't want something that's too dull. And I don't want something that's too dark and too bright. So I'm going to choose between these light areas here, dark areas here, or even here. And I'm trying to find like a happy medium, and I might want to select my background duplication for that instead of the black and white layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go somewhere in between, which I think that's more of an accurate color between this extreme and this extreme right here. So I'm going to use that and go back to this one. Duplicate the layer first. So when you duplicate the layer, then paint over it. So I'm painting over it. Bam, 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 bam. And paint over it thoroughly. Every single area that's going to be in the photo. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the type of layer. And I'm just going to say overlay. See what happens when you add color? Notice the detail is not as good. So I don't use color, I use overlay. You want to overlay the color on top of the area that has that profound detail. And that's what you want. So now, zoom back, it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. Now what you're going to do is you're going to save this again as a JPEG. What we're going to do is you're going to save it with the color selection. Yeah, I want to save it as that. Yeah, that sounds good. So now when I go back here, have that black and white, I can erase that black and white layer now. And this is the one that I edited previously. So now let's say I wanted to select this entire thing. I want to select this JPEG. And I want to overlay it here. Let's put it, actually, you know what? Let's, yeah, since that's the one that's visible, I'll use that. Now, since it's overlaid onto the original, all I got to do now is erase. Now, I'm sorry, oops, selected the wrong one again. I'm sorry that this tutorial is not on how to erase. I'm just going to do a basic erase for this, and I'm going to show you pretty much how it goes. So now the only thing I have to do really now is just erase it. So anywhere that's black and white, I just erase away from the original layer. So all those colors that I had before in the original layer, I get to preserve them while I get to put this bra on top. It's almost like I'm putting the bra on for her. There you go. I'm helping her out. And that's how it's done. So you could see that this is a lot better. You can see that the detail is much better, and you're not having this stupid glowy colors interfere because of whatever color mixture or whatever is not recorded by, you know, the higher ISO, or whatever it may be, whatever excuse you can find. And there's a lot of reasons why that happens, but you can see from the original, it looks much better. It looks much, much better in the preservation and detail department. See that? See, now you got these the blobby colors that used to be there, gone. The blobby colors that were here, gone. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope this helps you guys out. Have a good day, and peace out.